All right, so we're going to work through these and I'll explain some things since I'm not there to talk to you in person. We'll start with 4x minus 9 equals 7x plus 12. You know how to do this. You're going to need to get it together. Now, the thing you got to remember here is that you can go in any order you want to. Some of you like to add the 9 first, and that's perfectly fine. Add the 9 first. Some of you want to subtract the 12 or subtract the 7. It doesn't matter what you decide to do first. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract the 7 first and bring it over here. So I get negative 3x minus 9 equals 12. Now I do it that way because I like to have my x's on the left. Don't know why. Just I want my x on the left. Even though I know it's going to be a negative. If I wanted to keep away from the negatives, I might subtract the 4x to the right to get a positive 3x, or yeah, positive 3x. But I'd still end up with negative somewhere. So my next step is then going to be add the 9. Because once you get that first step out of the way, it becomes kind of clear the way you're going to go about it. And then that gives me negative 3x equals 21. Now, everybody gets to that point. Either get, no matter what method you choose to solve it or what you do first, you get negative 3x equals 21, or you get 3x equals negative 21, or some variation of that. So then the next step, now we're in the easy part, so the next step is just divide. So x equals negative 7. And I can do a quick check if I need to. I won't do this for all of them today, but I want you to use a calculator to get in the habit of checking a few of these. So you're going to have 4 times negative 7 minus 9, so that's 28, or negative 28 minus 9, which is negative 37. And on the right side, you have 7 times negative 7 plus 12, so that's negative 49 plus 12, which is negative 37. That means you've done it correctly. Okay, next we'll do this one on the right. And it should look kind of odd to you. I did it that way on purpose. Some of these that you're going to do today are kind of interesting. Again, doesn't matter your first step. You get to choose it. I'm going to start by adding this 13. So now I'm going to have 8x equals 26 minus 8x. Now be careful. Don't get ahead of yourself. I see more problems with problems like this where people look at that and they automatically think, oh, the 8 negative 8 is going to count or cross out. Go ahead and go through the motions. Make sure you do everything. That's one reason we make you write it out like this, so you can see exactly what you're doing. Because you notice nothing crossed out, nothing canceled. I get 16x equals 26, and then I'm going to divide by 16. Now, since you can't use a calculator today, don't worry about it. This is where you look at this and go, okay, I have a fraction. What do I do with every fraction? Well, I always reduce. So this reduces to 13 over 8. And 13 over 8 is a very good, beautiful fraction. It's a good number. If you know your eights or you had a calculator, you could work this out and get x equals 1.625. But if you chose to change it to a decimal, you have to go all the way out like that. If you went 1.6, it really is not correct. It's a little off. All right, next we'll look at number 3. We have our first distributing. Okay, remember that means to take that 5 and multiply it by everything. So we end up with 5x plus 15 equals 27. That's the main reason I showed you this problem, was to start the distributing. But now you're down to a very simple problem. Subtract 15, you get 5x equals 12. Divide by the 5, and once again, you're ending up with a fraction, which is okay. Most of y'all see what you can change that to. But 12 over 5 is simplified. There's no reason to change it. You can leave it just like that. So that is the best answer. But if you insist on changing it, 2.4 would be it, because 5 goes into 12 twice with 2 left over. So that's 42.4. And again, you can check it, plug it into the calculator, and it'll work out for you. Next, we have this longer problem. It's still got distributing. So we're just going to go through that. 2 times x and 2 times 7. So we have 2x plus 14 minus 5 equals 5x minus 33. So now, when we try this, remember, I don't want to draw the line there, but you can. But anything on the left side, go ahead and simplify. And anything on the right side, go ahead and simplify. Which means on this left side, you can go ahead and simplify the 14 minus 5 to get 9. Now when there's nothing else to simplify, that's when you start going back and forth. And again, at this point, now I'm in the mood to keep everything positive. So I'm going to go that way, which will give me 3x minus 33 and just 9 right there. Now I'm going to add the 33 to this side, which is going to give me 42. So I have 42 equals 3x, so I divide by 3, and now I have 14 equals x, or x equals 14. We have an equal sign. All right, now the next two is where it starts getting fun. I start putting some strange things in there and kind of push you to your limits. We have a lot of things going on right here. So again, take care of each side individually. You don't have to draw a line, but take care of each side individually. So this left side is going to be negative 3x plus 24 minus 5. And the right side is going to be 9x plus 18 plus 1. So if we continue simplifying, the right side becomes 9x plus 19, and the right side becomes negative 3x plus 19. So again, you start seeing things, don't get tricked, because I'm trying to trick you. But don't get tricked by this. Continue solving by using your steps. Let the solution come to you, okay? So my next step, I'm going to subtract 19 from the left, which means I'm going to subtract from the right. And that's going to leave me with negative 3x equals 9x. So don't freak out over that. Pick a side. I'm going to subtract the 9x, which gives me negative 12x equals 0, because 9x minus 9x is 0. Now, before you stop right there. Keep going. Solve it all the way to the end. So I'm going to divide by negative 12 and get x equals 0. Now, 0 is not a special number. Do not forget that. 0 is not, there's nothing special about it. It's just a number. You happen to get 0 for your solution. That's okay. Leave it. Okay, next we'll look at number 6. So we have 8x. It's the negative 5 that's distributing. So we have negative 5x minus 15 equals 21x minus 3. So again, simplify this left side. 8x minus 5x is 3x. We have 3x minus 15 equals 21x minus 3. And now it's up to you how you go about doing it. I'm going to subtract the 3x. We get negative 15 equals 18x minus 3. So I'm going to add the 3, which gives me negative 12 equals 18x. And then I'm going to divide by 18, which is going to give me negative 12 over 18, which I can reduce to negative 2/3. So the solution is x equals negative 2/3. And now for our last two, the real fun ones. As you work these, you probably started noticing some strange things happening. Like on the first one, you're going to get 12 plus 4x when you simplify that, and you start noticing things look alike. At some point, your brain probably jumped into overdrive and started trying to figure out the answer. Again, work it all the way through. So I'm going to start by subtracting the 4x. I want to get my x's together. And right off the bat, I notice that those eliminate each other, and I get 12 equals 12, which is not going to work. My x's are gone. Okay, so if I think about that and go, okay, that's not right. So let's go back. I'm going to rewrite it like this. And I'm going to subtract 12. Now I get 4x equals 4x. So I got to get my x's together. I'm eventually going to subtract the 4x again, which, okay. And now I get 0 equals 0. In both cases, I've eliminated the x's completely. And I haven't done it by magic. I did it by just subtracting. The x's are gone. And lo and behold, I'm left with 12 equals 12 or 0 equals 0. I'm left with a true statement. That's the key here. This is a true statement. That means that any number I put in place of x up here will make this whole thing true. Like, for example, we'll put a 5 in there. So that gives us 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 12 is 32. And over here, 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. So that 5 works. In fact, no matter what number we put in there, it would work. So what we call this one is, this one has an infinite number of solutions. That means anything we put in there works. Okay? And finally, this last one, we'll go through the motions, and we're going to get 6x plus 16 equals 6x minus 30 plus 2. Now we simplify, so that's 6x plus 16 equals 6x minus 28. And right off the bat, you should start noticing this is a little bit different than the one before. Whereas the one before, they were identical. This one looks like they will be, but as you start working out, they're not. So I'm going to start by subtracting the 6x, and I get 16 equals negative 28. Now the difference is this is not true, whereas the one before was true. And when that happens, when you eliminate the x's like we did, all good and well, we subtract the x's and now they're gone, but we get something that's not true. That means that whatever variable, whatever number you put in place of the variable, you won't get a true statement. So this one is a no solution. You will not get a variable, or I'm sorry, I keep saying variable. You won't get a number that you can substitute in and make it true. So this one's no solution. So we have two special ones. When you end up with an equals where the two numbers are identical, that is an all infinite number solutions. When you get one where the two numbers are not identical and it's not true, that means there's no solution. So those are the two special ones. But in all of these, you needed to work it all the way through. The worst thing you can do is try to jump ahead and let your brain figure it out. Okay? You need to go ahead and just work everything through to the finish and see where it ends up. Okay, so at this point, even though I know the sub is telling you this, I want you to go ahead and you can either finish working on your old school calculator, so you can get that turned in, and go ahead and give it to him. I know I told you you didn't have to the other day, but just go ahead and give it to her, and she can put it in the tray and keep it for me. If you finish that, then you're going to pick up that second worksheet she's going to give you in just a minute and work on it. As I put on Canvas, there will be a test, a major grade, next class. It'll be towards the end, but it will be 5 to 8. I haven't decided how many yet. It'll be 5 to 8 equations that you have to solve. They will range from the very first day to the worksheet you're picking up from the sub. Now, don't slack off and just not do it, or you will not do well in this test, and it is a major grade. Thank you.